Okay, 2 right-handers, 2 non-winners on the PBA Tour. Marty Lecher, you're familiar with because in the last game he defeated David Ozio 240 to 224. Mike Miller, his opponent. And leaving a 9-pin on the left lane.
Well, urethane bowling ball, 3-pound, 7-ounce pins, and a good top player relaxed in the championship round overpowers the pins. Marty Lecher, a apparent good hit, leaves the solid 9 and easy spare.
So, deep breath after the first frame. New experience for Marty Lecher and handling it well. However, Mike Miller's had a little more experience. It's his 3rd telecast, 2nd this year. Because Bo, we remember him as top seed, right? And he lost to Ozio in Las Vegas.
Well, he's bowled so well, Chris, in his 2 championship rounds. As you see, the unique style, little 5-step stutter delivery. Look at that arm cocked, no thumb in the ball, stays right underneath it. Probably the most powerful bowling ball that I've ever seen on the Professional Bowlers Tour. He gets about 16 or 17 revolutions, no thumb in the ball, and he keeps that cupped in his palm of his hand, and what power.
And sponsored by his family. And already this year he's earned $33,418.
And his style's not unique, Chris. Many of the bowlers in South Africa use the no-thumb delivery. I've seen a lot of teenagers around the country using it. And before bowling was ever really, really popular back in the 1800s, most players bowled without any holes in the ball. So he's just falling back to an age-old style.
Okay, Marty Lecher, first strike of this game. He tells us about the changes he's made and his plans for the future.
Well, when I was out here in the 80s, I struggled a little bit and had some arm problems. I got that solved last year with an operation. I quit bowling for about 4 months. When I came back, I got a coach and was able to practice a lot more, got a lot sharper. And who knows, this might lead to me coming out here full-time again.
Well, after today, Bo, we will see that gentleman down the road.
You're right, Chris. And the operation he had on his shoulder, he had some bone removed from the socket of his shoulder and some ligaments that were re-sewn. So it's helped him to practice more, as he said. And he's really looking sharp as Mike Miller comes up in the 3rd, perfect through 2.
Mike leaving a 10-pin, and we mentioned how Marty's family into bowling. Well, talk about into bowling as a family. Mike's sister, Dana Miller Mackey, is an LPBT multi-champion. His dad's on the senior tour. Well, they really go after it.
They sure do, and he's switching to a regular ball, Chris, with his thumb in it for the spare.
Okay. Mike Miller shares with us how he got the idea for the 2-fingered palm ball he uses.
I think it was a combination of frustration and just being willing to do anything I could possibly do before I actually went home and tried something else with my life. So I was practicing one day in Edmond, Oklahoma, and I picked up a house ball off the rack. It was 14 pounds, started throwing it, and all of a sudden I threw about 7 or 8 in a row, and my buddy said, you know, that doesn't look too bad. He said, you might want to try that. So that's what I did. I tried it in the next tournament. And lo and behold, here I am, 3 TV shows later.
All right. Yes, from Wembley Stadium tomorrow at 1 Eastern, 12 Central and Pacific. New Jersey, New York Knights versus London Monarchs. From Bel Air, Maryland, who defeated David Ozio in the last match, Marty Lecher, leading by 1. Wow! And with that double, jumps out to an 11-pin lead. Here's Bo.
Thank you, Chris. Tournament leader Norm Duke, your sparring partner Mike Miller could be your opponent for the championship round. You show him any sympathy?
Not at all. I'm sure he doesn't show me any sympathy either. It's going to be tough. You know, the guys are posting some good scores, and their lanes are playable from everywhere. It really doesn't matter who you bowl, it's just who's ready to win today.
Neither one of these fellows are champions. You think you have a big advantage?
I don't look at that as an advantage. I know how nervous it is to go out there and try to win your first title. But I'm going to be equally as nervous. I just think whoever performs is going to win.
Good scores, Chris, and it'll be an exciting final match.
Yes, Norm Duke, who won last week in Parma Heights, Ohio, the Bud Light Open for his second championship in an 8-year career. All right, here is Mike Miller. And that strike. We're keeping within 11 pins of his opponent. Here are the leaders by round.
56-game tournament, and the first 4 rounds you see are 8-game qualifying rounds. 32 games, then Norm Duke just took over from Mike Miller. The last 24, 56 games in all. Miller bowling is 57th. Right now we have a very tight match. Miller trailing by 11. Could cut it to 1 here in the 6th.
Mike Miller in that match play was 7-15-2, while Marty Lecher, who's up and ready to go, was 13-10-1.
Good match game records, and I'll tell you what, Mike Miller just put it on Marty Lecher. You can do a little bit more than with your bowling ball. You can with your body. Let's see if he psyched him out with that little fist in the air. 6th frame.
Didn't bother Marty. There are some psyching tricks that you pros do, Bo.
Well, you're right, Chris. It's match game competition, and it's a lot of strikes out there now, and you have to know to attack when there's strikes out there, and you have to know when to back off and be conservative. Right now, you have to throw strikes, and we'll see how Marty Lecher is playing the lanes. He's playing a medium outside line, sliding right in here, and watch how he takes this bowling ball and just slides it right between these two and right around the second arrow.
Left a 10-pin.
Lecher with a real good shot there, Chris. Solid 10. It's going to be just a 10-pin difference as we go finish the 7th frame. Remember, he missed this 10-pin once in the first match.
Yes. We have returned to Imperial Lanes.
Mike Ducat and his father Darrell have been our proprietors, and they have the most successful Pro-Am of any tournament we ever have on the PBA Tour. Over 2,000 Pro-Am entries every year, with a record 2,608 in 1989. Chris, as Miller comes up in the 7th frame, can even the match with a strike.
3 in a row. Using about all of the approach. Nine pin on that right lane for Mike Miller of Albuquerque.
Quickly up, he switches to a very shiny ball, as you see his position and his tremendous release. He doesn't go around the ball. He goes straight up the back. About 16, 17 revolutions on the ball, breaks up the split, has an easy 9-pin spare.
And there is Jody Ann, bride of 2 weeks. They were married March 16.
Lovely lady. Mike Miller was just kind of a journeyman player out here before he switched to the no-thumb delivery, and since then in 18 tournaments he's had 14 cashes, 8 top 24s, and 3 top 5s. He's still looking for his first victory, so power has made the difference in this young man's career.
And then a high hit.
What is that? We don't even hardly see that. He throws so
No.
much of a hook ball that he leaves an unusual split. Has to get the ball over in the 3-6 zone, as you see him cutting right through the center of the pins. Gets this 3-6 over in this area and then drive the ball over into the 4-pin. He's going to throw his hook at it, Chris. Bad choice.
So, Martin Lecher, back up.
The door has been opened.
With a spare working, Marty leaves the 10 pin. I mentioned the American Bowling Congress tournament here in Toledo. It goes 113 consecutive days, and nearly 50,000 bowlers will come through Toledo.
Great tournament. As you see, Letscher playing that outside line, leaves the soft 10 as we call it. 6-pin not quite having enough impetus to knock out the 10, but Letscher's been around the pocket. He hasn't been beating himself. He's in good position to win this semifinal.
We're at Imperial Lanes, and next week we go to Ray Becker's Landmark Lanes in Peoria for the True Value Open, another $200,000 tournament.
And of course that True Value bonus of $100,000 every week for a 300-game doubles next week, and that's one of the highest scoring tournaments. So, Chris, there's always a great possibility of somebody racking it up there as Miller contemplates what Letscher is doing. Letscher going at a 2:38 pace. Boy, the door opens up. Marty, with not enough speed on there, has left himself the 4, 6, 7. He's looking at the scoreboard. He goes right through the middle. What he needs to do, needs to get the ball over in the 4-7 zone and just take a chance on bouncing one of those pins out into the 6, but can't give up the count.
Late in the game, 2 non-winners coming up with errors, and now only 12 pins separate them.
Well, for the best strike bowler on the tour, he needs some strikes. You see his grip, just sticks these fingertips in the ball, no thumb, and the power, he needs it now, needs to put it in the 1-3 zone. Well, that sets him up, Chris, for a possibility of winning the game, but it's absolutely imperative for Mike Miller to strike here on the first ball in the 10th. Without a strike, he cannot win.
Doubling here now, late in our semifinal game. The winner to go on to meet the tournament leader, Norm Duke, who won last week.
Boy, did he just saw up those pins there. He ripped them in the 9th, ripped him the first ball in the 10th. Now he has at least made Marty Lecher mark and get a good count. If he strikes again, he'll force Letscher to throw a double in a good count. The match is up for grabs.
What a performance. For his sister, Dana Miller Mackey, throwing the ladies' tour in a winner, watching with great interest now.
Mike Miller just has so much area on the lane, so much power, and bowling is a sport right now that has a tremendous premium on power. He has the strike ball. He is now forced, as his wife looks on, forced Marty Lecher to get 2 strikes and a good count to go to the championship match. .232 when it looked hopeless. What a comeback and what a finish. For Marty Lecher, he needs a strike on the first ball in the 10th, on the second ball in the 10th, and at least 9 pins to win. Anything less, it's Miller's match.
But for Marty Lecher, it's $10,000, finishing 3rd here in the national championship. And Mike Miller has a chance to win $35,000, but so does Norm Duke, the tournament leader, whom he'll meet after this. Here's a word from our ABC station.